So yeah, this is part 2 for spirituality. Yeah, so tune in. All right. So this is a personal journey. Nobody can't tell you how to move on that journey. Because on that journey, right, you are learning to trust yourself, to trust the Almighty, right? And to sharpen your senses, right? And to live in harmony. But let's elaborate more with some pointers. So, spirituality initiates the balance between faith and work, feminine and masculine. Though spiritual practices may differ from some, an individual intuitively chooses what works for their own well-being and connection to spirit with the intent of their rights. So, you know, let's not just focus on the negative. Alright. You have many houses in Rastafari. I love that. Yeah. In my song, Presence and Peace, you know, I said UNI verse, universe, is one song, you know. But what I don't like about them having so many houses is this dogma, you know, this rigidity of who is right, who is more right than who is wrong, you know. And there is a lot of judgment, you know, criticism from ones and ones, because they show up different than some. Yeah. And in some case it's that biasness, right? And sometimes some people carry light or a certain spirit where some people just can't resonate with that. And nothing is wrong with that, you know. We can't be everybody cup of tea. But you should be intelligent enough to navigate yourself through a trigger like that. Yeah. And that's where spirituality comes into play. That is the focus, right? Self, your well-being. Because I'm not going to put myself into negative situations, right? I'm not going to go out of my way to do, you know, messed up shit just because, you know, I feel like I can get away with it, right? And I don't know how that have anything to do with this point about. Let's see. You know, integrity is the highest protection. You know, you do good, good follow you, and it's a true thing. Yeah. Because if you make life hard for others, it's gonna be hard for you. You see? Because that's the type of seed you sow. And interacting with people, right? It's like you're sowing little seeds inside of them, you know, by basic interaction, right? And I know what what attachment comes with, right? A lot of people might look like they're living life, you know, but and some are, like, congratulations to you, right? Especially if you put in genuine hard work, you know, congratulations to you. But those that throw others under the bus, yeah, just to thrive, that is not work, you know. That's not having faith. You see? And you can know the type of system a person operates from based on their actions, you know. And when I say system, I mean, you know, the principles, the morals that you have, yeah, and even that same faith. Because if you trust that what you are doing, right, is the right thing, and it will take you to where you would want to go, yeah. It brings a sense of satisfaction to you, you know. Because when I take part in this new venture that I'm doing now, and I'm learning along the way, I'm helping others, you know, while I'm learning, and I'm earning, you see. And I've made mistakes along the way doing, you know, partaking in that skill, but I trust myself to fix it and to learn from that, you know, and to not repeat it. You see? And, you know, in a situation like when conflict arises, and you will hear people say, oh, calm down, you know. Sometimes you might think that it's to invalidate your feelings, you know, or the situation. But I noticed that when certain things arise, certain challenges arise, and I approach it with a level of calmness, right, I solve, you know, I correct that situation with more ease, you know, and yeah, the job get done, basically. So yeah, and I follow my intuition, you know. I have a strong intuition, and I take the time out to listen, right, and to feel. And over time, tapping into that, you know, it sharpens more and more, yeah. So if you continue to do an action, eventually you will master it, you see. So yeah, don't be afraid to do honest work, especially the work that has purpose, you know. And sometimes that work is just you paying attention to yourself, right? Because a person who is doing a job that pays them well but doesn't really bring them fulfillment than a person that actually than a person that is doing something that fulfills them, you know. And they might get good pay too as well, but the fulfillment is the key, you know. You will see a difference in performance, you know. But that has to come from within. Yeah. It will bring more transformation. You know, I think when, you know, you're doing something that brings you fulfillment, it helps you to bring fulfillment to the world as well, because you can share that. And when you share that, of course, you know, that's what happens. Yeah. But all right, let's go into the third point. So spirituality is not religion. It is a path for us to generate happiness, understanding, and love, so we can live deeply each moment of our life. This is a quote from Thich Nhat Hanh, right? A spiritual teacher. Yeah, so people will tell you, you know, to go after things that seems normal and it looks like it brings happiness, you know. But does it really bring true alignment to your soul, you know? Because sometimes our mind will put our mind to one thing, but our soul says a different. Yeah. And it doesn't allow us to bring our full selves to that space. And that is so insulting to you. Like, though there is social cues and you know, you should be able to read the room and all of that. Yeah. And in that case, reading the room, you wouldn't allow yourself to be in rooms where you can't truly be you. Yeah. So learning how to let go has to come in play in that case. You see? Yeah. If certain people and places and things let you, you know, make you feel a certain way, that awareness is a signal. It's communication. Yeah, that you should protect yourself. Or if you want to go deeper, you can question, you know, yourself on why you feel such a way. Yeah. But you work with your spirit, you work with your intuition, you work with the divine. Yeah. And if it says such that you should remove yourself, then you have to do just that. Because by right, in this society, right, it teaches women to sacrifice themselves, right? And in religion especially, they say that, you know, a wife is a helpmate and all of that, but it's all for women to direct their energy to males for them to siphon, you see. And I've seen so many male spiritual teachers, you know, be exposed because of the perversion. Yeah. But yeah, certain lifestyle take from you more than it add to your life, you know. So this is my fourth pointer. So, in essence of spirituality, it is your right to follow your heart and soul's desire for your own path to align towards happiness, understanding, and love. In relationship, you have a type. Who told you you should have that type? Why do you even have that type? Yeah. I can no longer fight my spirit, you know. Like if I truly don't want to partake in something, I just gracefully remove myself, you know. Yeah. But the rain is coming now. And some people think that narcissism is just selfishness, but it's much worse than that, you know. Because in spirituality, you need that selfishness. You need those boundaries. Because if you're gonna purify something, you know, that is what is needed, right? But yeah, I'm gonna go into this next point. The rain kind of distract me, you know. Spirituality entails listening, seeking within without the need of outside noise, of religious praise and worship. So, a lot of these things aren't necessary. Like, you know, going to church occasionally and just even to sing hymns and praises. No, music is a craft, you know. It's magic. Yeah. And you can use it to raise a vibration or to lower a vibration. You know, I love it. But, you know, in me expressing through music. Some people call it writer's block, but it's sometimes I like to be still for some time, you know, because in going in that stillness, you know, you eventually, you know, you will have to express, right? It's like sometimes, I don't know. It's like being a sponge, you know, because I observe sometimes the things around me, and that's how I am able to express, yeah, through music, you know. But in some cases, it's like I'm listening, yeah, and I'm not listening for outside, you know, because the mind is so vast, and if you stay still enough, you know, so many ideas can arise, yeah. Even ideas that can fix or set your reality a certain way, you know, if you like. You understand? So yeah, I have like 2 more pointers, so I'm gonna just get into the words. Alright. In spirituality, and truly what I understand deeply, is that practicing conscious awareness is an attribute of the Almighty, which is the ideal role model instead of a physical being, teacher, or religious leader. So I see how, like, my experience in Rastafari, I see how a lot of those people idolize certain people in certain positions, right? And these people that are being idolized, they take it as an ego boost, and they treat people a certain way, or they do certain things, you know, that are illegal. Yeah, that shit is illegal. The fuck. But yeah. And though I step up, you know, with authority to speak, yeah, I am a very mindful person with what I say, yeah, and I do a lot of introspection, a lot of reflecting, you know. So I look at what my interactions with people, and you know, the things that I say, yeah, a lot of the times. That's why I don't come on the internet just to say anything, you know. It must have a purpose behind it, you understand? And I don't I don't want to mislead anybody. Yeah, and I do my research. Yeah. But even with my experience with the mentor and the ex, like the ex is half my age, you know, and he is a predator, no doubt, you know, and these men seek out younger women to fulfill their fantasy, like some dumb shit. Yeah. And women do this too, because even with the mentor, it's all a fantasy they want to fulfill. A lot of it is sexual, and I hate, you know, I have so much disdain for predatory behavior and perversion. Yeah, because people should be able to come around you and just be normal, you know. At least that's what I think, you see. But when you go around certain people, it's like they start to project what they would want you to partake in. Yeah. And they will project it like it's your desire, but it's theirs. Yeah. And I say this to say that look to no one. Yeah. Not even me. Take my words as a signpost. Yeah. God, the Almighty, should be your role model. And what I mean in that is, right, is to have, because to be of the Almighty is to be of integrity, morals, principle, right? Transparency. And, you know, just be a creator, yeah, of goodness, right, to your world. And I say this to say, to get to the other point, right, your world. So, it is in spirit where we truly live and experience life. Whatever our state of being is, that is how we will live and express life. Home is within your body, not outside of it. Yeah. You have this hymn that says, create in me a clean heart and renew a right spirit within me. And sometimes I, as a woman, have to, you know, when I wake up, I have to just invite the Almighty into my mind, you know, and into my day. Truly. Yeah. And I could have said so much, because some people believe in prayer, some people don't. Yeah. Some people, they look to nature. Some people look to the church for their meditation. Yeah. But truly, what does your spirit says, you know? Because we can individually hear the Almighty for ourselves. You see? And we live in our bodies, nowhere else. So make sure you're comfortable in your skin, within yourself, right? Make sure you're impressed with yourself. But I try my best. I hope this was insightful to you. Thank you. And take care.